Thank you. I can see some of you have already joined. Josiah Senior, the bartender, Karibu Njoki Karara. Thank you for tuning in. Please invite as many of your friends and family, only the ones you like, to join us, and let's have a good conversation about today's topic. Okay, who is Michael Mushiri? Tap for sound. Should I turn on the sound? Yes. I don't know if I can tell if it's on. It's on? Awesome. All right. Welcome all. Thank you for tuning in. Computer arclight.ke. Karibu. I see you, Coco. Jerry James. Welcome. Welcome all of you. Thank you for tuning in. It is Thursday, the 2nd of March, 2023. I'm super excited. Happy New Month to all of you. I'm really excited to have this conversation, continuation from last week. In case you missed last week's, I think it's still up on our socials. You can go and watch that video. We do record and we do post these for the benefit of those who can't join us live. Please go back and take a listen. You may have comments you want to make. Ahadi group, welcome again. You guys are so loyal in joining us for these conversations. Really appreciate that. Karibuni sana. And so today is going to be a continuation of last week's conversation, which was 50 by hundreds, to buy or not to buy. Right? And by the way, if you have any specific comments, questions, things that have been eating you that you've been meaning to ask about 50 by hundreds, please go ahead and make your comments and share your questions in the comment sections, and we'll try and address them while we're live. We're going to be live for about the next 58 minutes. It's supposed to be an hour. Sometimes it goes slightly longer, but no sweat there. So please share your comments so that we can be as interactive as possible. So off we go. Last time I talked about what a 50 by 100 is. 50 by 100 is in feet. Those are dimensions in feet. It's a typical size reference for 1/8 acres in Kenya. It's what any random Kenyan will tell you a plot is. Yeah. So in Kenya, if you refer to a plot, they mean a 50 by 100 or vice versa. But a 50 by 100 is specific to a particular dimension. What matters is the square footage, if you will, or the internal area. An eighth of an acre can take on all sorts of shapes and dimensions. So let's not get hung up on the 50 by 100 foot dimension because that is specific to a particular shape. What matters is the area within, right? So what we discussed had to do with the right way to go about buying 50 by 100s, because a few people mentioned that I had done a video, this is way back in 2016, about why we don't sell 50 by 100s. And at the time, I made a comment that we would never sell 50 by 100s. Of course, as I pointed out last week, we are now selling 50 by 100s. We have two projects ongoing currently. The first one is the All Kekun, which is in Naivasha, touching the main highway. In Naivasha town, as you approach the main Kenyatta Road turnoff, called Kayole, right opposite the new Safari Center development, where there's an art cafe market, and the Naivas. And if you're watching, you'll see some images, some renders of our beautiful master plan there. Those are all 50 by 100 plots, or in other words, 1/8 acre. Some of the dimensions vary a little bit from the 50 by 100. And that is the very first project we have ever done as a 50 by 100. And it's new, right? It's live now. The second one we're calling Kili Point, which is on the main Emali Oloitoktok Highway. About 15 kilometers from Mombasa Road, when you turn off at Emali town, is where our Kili Point project is located. It covers a total of 5 acres right on the tarmac highway, and these have been subdivided into 50 by 100 plots. And so, understandably, some people were wondering, hey, dude, I thought you said you don't sell 50 by 100s. Why are you selling 50 by 100s now? And I did make the clarification that at the time I made that comment, it was based on the fact that we were operating under a very specific legal regime that specified the way 50 by 100s ought to be produced. After the 2010 Constitution, a raft of measures were enacted and operationalized over a number of years, many of which are still being operationalized, all the way down to the new generation title deeds or title conversion initiative by Ministry of Lands, otherwise known as RD SASA. It's on the RD SASA platform. These are all the result of the 2010 constitutional promulgation, right? And in 2019, or 2019, the Physical Land Use and Planning Act was assented to, and this act, this set of laws, now prescribe the way 50 by 100s or any size of land really has to be subdivided or fragmented or amalgamated and so on. Now, the main distinction is that before 2019, many of these were done under the Ministry of Lands, national government, but now issues having to do with fragmentation of land, subdivisions, zoning, so use, meaning is it agricultural, residential, commercial, light industrial, whatever the case may be, these are now decided exclusively by the county government. And there's a raft of policies, measures, rules that one has to follow to produce these sizes. And it's in that context that we're now offering 50 by 100s. Also, I should say this is primarily in response to our market. A lot of our customers have made requests for these sizes because many presume that a 50 by 100 should be cheaper than half an acre or an acre in general. Not always true. That may be the case for our Kili Point project, which are currently pre-selling for 499,000 shillings each only, versus our Okekun, which are starting at 7.99 million shillings. So very big difference. This all has to do with what value you're buying, what amenities come with the land or are available on the site pre-existing our subdivision, its location relative to major developments or human activity, human settlements, and the likes. And the things I'm mentioning should be obvious to you as you might catch some of the videos that will play from time to time as I speak on Olkekun and Kili Point. So just to set the stage, that's what we discussed last week. So what we wanted to do this week is just dig deeper into that, which is why I'm inviting your questions, comments, so that hopefully I can address things that are top of mind for you. I don't think I've seen any questions so far. I have an amazing team of guys here with me that you can't see that are making this possible. So, team, if you do see any questions, please flag them for me. I see one question here, Kenyan Tube Kids. The question is, how can I buy 50 by 100 for my kids? Is it possible? Answer is yes. In the sense that you can make investments for other people other than yourself. Obviously, if your children are below the age of 18, you cannot register those title deeds in their name, because in order to take legal registered possession of property in Kenya, you have to be of adult age, carrying a national identity card, and having a Kenya Revenue Authority PIN number. you require those two as a bare minimum in order to transact on property. So if your children are below the age of 18, what you would have to do is uh, first option, have the title deeds registered in the name or obviously of an adult who will hold the titles in trust for them, whether that is you, your spouse, maybe their godfather or godmother if you have one of those, or anyone else that you deem fit and suitable, that you trust enough, obviously, because in the event of your absence, if you get raptured to heaven before the rest of us, you need to be able to trust that they will pass that property on to the intended beneficiary. Obviously, having a will in place is necessary in terms of managing that process. So, talk to a licensed advocate, please, one who is qualified and has competence in that particular field, right? One is conveyancing, the other has to do with succession law and estates who can help you formalize your intention. Another option is to register the properties into a trust. A trust is basically a formalization of the first arrangement I just described, as opposed to registering the property in the name of a particular individual or a group of individuals that you trust to pass on the property to your intended beneficiaries. You can register a formal trust, which is an entity. It will have trustees that you appoint. It will stipulate the conditions under which the property can be used for the benefit of your intended beneficiaries and how they should go about making decisions in the event that you're not present. So, yes, short answer to your question is yes, you can buy 50 by 100 or any size of land for your children. You just need to make sure that you're clear about how you want it managed uh, in the interim, most especially in the event of your passing away, right? You have to think about those things. I know in African culture, we don't talk about estate planning while we're alive. I know many believe if you do so, you're inviting death. Um, but you can't stick your head in the sand like an ostrich. You have to be proactive about it, and this way you are sure that the property will benefit whoever you intended, whether it's your kids or someone else, right? So I hope that answers your question. I see one other question here by Tutor Dave on Instagram, and the question is, do you accept payment plans? Yes. For example, at Kili Point, we're offering a 5-month installment plan. It's the first time we have ever done that in the 11 years we have been serving the Kenyan investor community. Generally speaking, we do not, but we're making efforts to make it easier, remove barriers to entry for, especially for our younger customer base who may not have lump sums of cash now. Obviously, it's not restricted to age groups, but that is as far as we go in terms of payment plans. You make a deposit, and if you visit our website, www.grandacres.co.ke, you will be able to find a listing of our current projects and the terms and conditions. It'll ask you to enter your details, and it'll send you a full brochure with all the terms and conditions. And yes, so we are making efforts to accommodate those who require installment plans, and those are also memorialized in our sale agreements. That's a great question. Thank you, Tutor Dave, for that. I see one other question from Matimu Ignatius. I know that name. Matimu, you were with us last week. Thank you for tuning in again. And your question is, how do you mitigate double allocation on a plot? Example, 2 agents book the same plot to 2 different customers. Wow. Okay. Well, Matimu, this is impossible for you to do as a buyer. This is a question that should be answered by the land seller, like ourselves. And that has to do with internal management procedures we have in place to interact with customers who are interested in specific parcels. How do we track what they're interested in? Do we provide receipts? Do those receipts explicitly state the parcel number that they are booking? Very important. You need land reference numbers or a point of reference, whether it's a number assigned to a particular plot on a site map or a subdivision scheme. You need to be able to say, I am paying X number of shillings as a deposit for plot X or plot Y, whether it's numbered or lettered, whatever the case may be. And that has to match with a government map, whether it's available now or will be available later in the form of a mutation or a registry index map. You need to be able to match that particular parcel to whatever you booked, right? So for you as a buyer, the most you can do is ensure as much as possible there's specific reference made to the particular plot you're buying. That's it. And hopefully it matches whatever they show you later. But this is a problem that we, the land seller, or whoever you're buying from, has to sort out on the back end. And in the event of double allocation, obviously there needs to be accountability. For you, your options would be to either pick a different plot or pull out of the transaction. That's really the only two choices you have. Now, if you are going to pull out of the transaction because you don't like any of the other plots that might be available at the time that this double allocation has been made apparent to you, raises another question. How did you book for that plot? Did you pay the seller directly if it was a pre-sale, meaning you were booking before there was a ready transferable title deed to that property? Or did you put your money into an escrow account? And I've done a lot of content about what an escrow account is. If you're interested in learning more about that, please go to our platform. You can search us Goshen Acquisitions on YouTube or Own Land in Kenya, or you can just search for Solomon Wangwe on YouTube. It'll lead you to our YouTube channel where you can watch as much content as you like about the escrow account. Step number 8 in the checklist, free downloadable checklist, I might add, that you can get on our website as well, on how to buy land safely in Kenya, is make use of an escrow account. Because if something does come up like this, where you found out you've been double allocated and you're not interested in picking a different parcel and you want to pull out, your money was sitting in an escrow account ready to be deployed back to you, as opposed to now fighting with a land seller to give you your money back. And this is especially relevant when you are pre-buying, meaning you are buying or booking a piece of land that has not yet been titled. It may be going through subdivision, and this is actually the case with our Kili Point project. Our title deeds are expected imminently, but in the meantime, I believe we're now 50% pre-sold. Yeah, we're 50% pre-sold on Kili Point. All our buyers so far have made their purchase deposits of about 100K into an escrow account. That means if any of them do choose to pull out of the transaction before it is concluded, as is their right to exercise as per the Law Society of Kenya's conditions of sale, that should be explicitly stated in your sale agreement, then their funds are ready and available in an escrow account. The managing individual or professional, normally the lawyer who owns the escrow account, can dispatch their refund to them without making any further reference to us, and there's no delays. The reason people have issues with this is because if they paid the land seller directly and we used it to pay for rent or for the electricity bill or for the amazing camera crew that is shooting this video for us, or for salaries, we have no shortage of expenses when you're running a business. If we use that money for the business and you ask for a refund, then we may not be in a position to refund you as quickly as you would like. And this is where problems arise. So just wanted to mention that really quick. Step number 8 on our checklist on how to buy land safely in Kenya. Get it as quickly as you can. If you don't have it, it's a free downloadable worksheet that we have provided, whether or not you're buying from Grand Acres or Goshen Acquisitions, right? I hope that answers your question. And I see lots of great questions today. Thank you, guys. This is awesome. I see another question from Just a Mom, Kenya, and the question is: if I buy two 1/8 plots, can I amalgamate them into a quarter, and what is the process? The answer would depend on what covenants you have tied yourself to when you purchase the land, right? I know in most cases, most developers, land developers like ourselves, will not have secondary covenants. Covenants meaning rules and regulations like you would in a homeowner association about how to use your space in light of your neighbor's interests as well. Okay, and this would typically cover issues of what materials I can use to build. Can I start a pig farm next to the guy who's building a holiday villa, and that sort of thing? If there is no covenant besides your sale agreement, then the answer is yes, you can amalgamate. In actual fact, it's a lot easier to amalgamate or combine. And those are two very technical terms to a surveyor. They're not the same thing. And at this point, I will advise you very strongly to use or engage the services of a professional licensed surveyor to help you walk this process out. You can't afford to make any missteps along this path because it could have consequential ramifications for you in the future if you do it wrong. But amalgamating or combining two or more plots of land into one larger one, very simple and easy to do. Your surveyor will prepare a scheme or a proposed plan on how to combine them, what the new shape and dimensions will look like. This will typically be done on a mutation form or a deed plan. And then the survey department will accept or reject or make recommendations about what to fix. And once that is done, the new land registry number is issued by the survey department. And then from there, you can submit those documents to the Ministry of Lands registrar, who will proceed to deface the two separate titles, the two or more separate titles, and then produce a new title deed with a new title number, making sure that they reference the new size and dimensions of the combination. So that's an outline of the process. Again, I am not a surveyor. I am not an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I am simply a land developer. I happen to have been doing this for 11 years now in Kenya. I have a lot of experience. We have bought and sold over 1,000 acres of land in different parts of the country, including combinations and amalgamations, and so on. So I'm speaking from experience, which is why I strongly advise that you engage the services of licensed professionals to help you. But short answer to that very long winded or short version to that very long-winded answer is yes, it's possible. It's fairly easy to do as I've outlined. Much simpler to do than subdivision. So all the best to you, Just a Mom Kenya. I see another question here. Digital Trends Kenya. And you say, thank you so much for this. I am a young creative in Kenya. I cannot afford the 499K upfront or even 1 million. Do you have a solution for me to own land with you? Thank you. Digital Trends Kenya. That's an awesome question. I mean, this question keeps us awake at night sometimes because we hate to tell people that we don't have anything in their budget. I mean, we do this because we love what we do. It's actually a calling for us. That's what we believe. And so anytime we are asked for a product that we don't quite have, especially for our younger brothers and sisters, it hurts. So we are constantly thinking of ways to make this possible. This is why we came up with Kili Points. It's the second time we've offered 50 by 100s or 1/8 acre plots. And it's the first time we have ever sold anything in this price range in that size, just to reduce the barrier to entry, as I mentioned before. So for Digital Trends Kenya, I mean, besides the installment plan, We don't have any other solution for you yet, but stay tuned, keep watching. We are actually working on a really cool product in partnership with some of our friends in the finance space that would make it easier for you to engage us, even at 499K, maybe even at a million, and nothing I can speak about yet. So I would simply encourage you to stay tuned. Maybe send us a DM, and we can stay directly in touch with you so that we can notify you when this amazing product that we're working on is ready. Okay. And in the meantime, as opposed to allowing yourself to miss out on the great investment opportunities, please find people um, who think like you, who want to own property like you, who, like you, may not have the 499K or a million or whatever amount it may be. Get together. Make sure, first of all, that you like each other. After being sure that you have the same goals in mind, make sure you like each other, have trust mechanisms put in place, pull your money together and bust a move now. Because if you're going to wait until you can afford something on your own, guess what? The prices are changing. Today is the cheapest land will ever be in Kenya if history continues to bear itself out. Land has never gone down in pricing and valuation in Kenya, at least not significantly enough that we can talk about. We we may have small blips downwards or stagnations periodically, but if you look at the history of Kenya since independence, no other asset class has performed as well as land. It's on an upward trajectory all the way through. So you want to take advantage of the opportunities you have now. If you don't have enough to do it on your own, get together with other like-minded people, pull your resources together, and take action now. And I promise you, you will not regret it. Just make sure that you like each other and formalize your partnership properly. Engage the services of a licensed advocate always. Okay, that's a great question. I see one other question here from Margaret Mbai. And your question is, do you sell small parcels of for individuals, or you only deal with big projects? How much agency fees do you charge? Thank you, Margaret, for that question. The answer is no. Unlike agents or brokers, we only sell what we own. Goshen Acquisitions and Grand Acres, we never act as agents. We will not sell anything that we do not own. Um, and there's very specific reasons for that. In most important of which is we need to be able to stand behind the provenance or the history of ownership documents of whatever transactions we're involved in. It's impossible to do that as a broker or as an agent. And that's a decision we made from very early on because we didn't want to benefit from any transaction that we might have brokered and find that our customers have problems later because of those issues with the documentation, the ownership documentation historically, or things that happened before we got involved. So unfortunately, we don't sell for anyone. If it's not ours, you will never hear about it from us. So all the best. My advice to you, Mary, is seek out licensed agents if you can. You can use informal ones if you wish. You just need to be careful about how you engage them. Have everything written down so that there's no confusion about who is supposed to say what. You don't want a situation where you expose yourself to any liabilities on the account of a third party's actions. So I wish you all success finding the right person to help you sell. Okay? That was a great question. Let me see. Are there any others? I see one other question. What value addition amenities will Kili Point come with? That's a good question. These will have been listed on our website. If you go again, grandacres.co.ke, you'll be able to get some information on Kili Point. So at Kili Point, we're going to be providing a perimeter fence for security for a nice, neat, and intimate compound there of 5 acres into 50 by 100s. We'll have a security gate that you'd have to go through right off of the tarmac. Um, we're going to be providing water connectivity. We have pipe to water from Mount Kilimanjaro running just a few meters from our plots. And our two immediate neighbors on either side are already connected to this water line, just to demonstrate how close it is to us. We are also right along the main power lines, so we will be providing connectivity to the grid as far as power is concerned. We will be also making sure that you have clean access internally. Once you get off of the tarmac, we'll have all-weather Maram roads network so that you can drive to at least two of your beacons. The ones, for those of you who will have shared boundaries with others behind you, obviously you won't be able to drive to every beacon, but everyone will have direct accessibility off of the all-weather Maram road. And we also have a garden space hived out within our compound for communal use that we will be landscaping, which will be great value for everyone who will be part of this nice, intimate community of ours at Kili Point. So those are some of the amenities we'll be providing. Obviously, the issue of ownership documentation at Grand Acres and Goshen Acquisitions, that's a foregone conclusion. We only sell what we own. We stand behind the documentation, how the property has been produced, created, subdivided, with the legal documentation in place, done. That's never an issue for us. But those are some of the amenities that you will have with your 50 by 100 plot. All right. I think that covers all the questions I've seen. Oh wait, let's see. There's one more here. Can't tell who that is. Is that BRTT? Can't tell. But the question is, if one is abroad, how can you safely buy land in Kenya while avoiding intermediaries? Wow. Well, not to toot our own horn, but one of the best things you can do is reach out to Grand Acres, because we're not intermediaries. We only sell what we own. As much as possible, always try to deal with the landowner themselves. Okay? Now, in the event that you can't, make sure you're dealing with licensed professionals, not informal brokers or agents, because there's no accountability mechanisms in place to ensure that people are punished for misbehaving, especially when it results in a loss event for you. So one of the best things you can do is make sure that you're only dealing with people who own the property that is being sold. Look at the title deed, ask for the documentation. If it's a company, ask for the registration certificates. If it's an individual, obviously you'll ask them for their identification documentation. You can do this on your own, but it's way simpler if you engage the services of a licensed advocate. They know exactly what they need to look out for. And in this regard, I should point out, make sure you work with conveyance advocates. Okay, these are lawyers who specialize in commercial transactions around properties. So they know exactly what to look out for. They went to school. They should have practiced long enough that they have a measure of experience, and it'll be a lot easier for you if you engage their services. Make sure that you're not getting yourself into hot soup. Okay, so all the best to you. Check out our website, reach out to us, download our free checklist. It'll be a great place to start, even in terms of vetting whichever lawyer you choose to work with. It's one of the key steps in our free downloadable checklist. So you're welcome to download that for yourself. Share it with everyone you like and love that's interested in owning land in Kenya as well. Okay? I see a question here from our favorite Ahadi group on IG, and your question is, I always wonder, most 1/8 acre plots here in US are fully developed and also homes are built on them. That's when they sell to the buyer. Why is that not common in Kenya? That's an awesome question, Ahadi. And you're right. In the more developed countries, especially in the West, this is a common practice. In fact, I remember driving through subdivisions that were selling lots for residential use, and we'd be driving on very beautiful tarmac roads, uh, you know, that are clearly marked with road signs, landscaping already done, power, water, fiber optic cables already laid, and all you had to do literally was drop your home on the site and you're good to go. Unfortunately, this is not the case in Kenya for a number of reasons. And I'll try to keep it brief because I could do a lecture on this. I yap about it quite a bit. So, in Kenya, back in the day, this is exactly what used to happen. And to give you an example, places like Langata, South C, South B, Buru Buru, back in the day, they all got developed exactly as you're describing, Ahadi. Um, the developer would buy or invest in the piece of land. They would come with schemes, master plans for the use, whether it's residential, commercial, a little bit of mixed use. They would give the allowances for access roads as prescribed by the local municipality authorities at the time, including reticulation of all the necessary utilities for the appropriate use of those pieces of land as per the developer's application, right? Now, once that was approved, what tended to happen is the plans would be submitted to the municipality, public access roads would be surrendered to the local authority. They would actually get title deeds on their own. This still happens when you're dealing with uh, leasehold type of properties that are subdivided under deed plans. The access road actually gets its own title deed, just like the other plots, and you surrender this to the authorities. And the authorities would therefore have sittings and be able to tell that over the next year, so many homes are supposed to be built within this community based on approvals we have issued. We need X number of shillings. A budget is allocated to provide water connectivity, sewer connectivity and infrastructure, roads, street lighting, and the likes, right? And these were all done by either the local government or the national government or both in some cases. And all the developer would need to do is focus on building the homes and selling them to the would-be buyers. This is one of the reasons home ownership was so much easier back in the day, because the developer didn't have to sink so much capital into the infrastructure development, right? Unfortunately, so many years on, that system of governance has broken down, whether it's due to corruption, whether it's due to lack of enforcement, poor planning, whatever the case may be. That doesn't happen anymore. So the developer, like ourselves, has to take on the weight of developing the infrastructure themselves. And this is very costly. There's a reason why it was done by government entities and not private companies or private individuals. It is essentially a subsidized public service. It was never done for profitability, because there is no way to profit without increasing the prices of the end product so much that you price out the market. This is a classic example of why places like Tatu City are priced the way they are. I think Tatu City is now selling half acres for 40, 50 million shillings. Why? Because that developer had to spend their own capital to develop the infrastructure. Amazing infrastructure, I might add. They can't afford to donate that as a public service, right? That's the job of government, which doesn't do it anymore. So if the developer is going to sell the finished product the way they envisage, they have to eat the cost. And that cost is passed on to the buyer, which is why properties cost as much as they do. And then you have to build. And in most cases, most land developers don't have the capital it takes to do what Tatu City has done, to do what Miga attempted to do, for instance. And so we're left at the mercy of developers wanting to do the right thing And this is why very often you'd find subdivided plots of land here, there, everywhere with zero utilities, only a clean title, or so we claim, um, which is essentially very poor value. Most especially when I'm telling you, you can use it for a holiday home or a villa or a residential sort of use, and yet I haven't provided a clean road network. I haven't provided waste treatment. I haven't provided water and power connectivity. I haven't provided any other amenities around public use of space, gardens, play area for children, commercial district for shopping, and that sort of thing, right? And this is basically how we have ended up where we are in Kenya today. And there's real reason. It's not for lack of desire. The economics need to work, and there are very few places where it can work. So hope that answers your question, Ahadi. That's why we don't do it as well as they do in the West, because in the West, there are proper systems in place, necessary budgets are put in place, infrastructure development is a going concern, unlike places like back home in Kenya. So we hope and pray that things will change. For now, just be wise, interrogate the value that's being offered for the price that's being offered. And one final example, just to kick that dead horse, is the comparison between our Kili Point project and Okekun, right? So check out our website. You will see the difference and understand why things happen the way they do. And happy to keep that conversation going, even on a private basis, Hadi, because you guys are part of the family now. That's a great question. Thank you. I see one other question from Bible Relaxation. Wow, that's an interesting name. What are the Bible Relaxation? What are the additional features that one should look out for in a 1/8 parcel of land? Example, Kili Point. Are there roads, fencing, water in the area? Thank you, Bible Relaxation. I have already addressed that. Look out for the replay of this video. And you can also visit our website, grandacres.co.ke. And I see another comment from you. God bless you, Goshen and Solomon. How can one book a site visit to the sites mentioned? Is there a cost to the site visits? Thank you so much. I receive the blessings on behalf of self and the Goshen Acquisitions and the whole team here. Yes, all you have to do is reach out to us. You can DM us or send an email. Tell us when you would like to make a site visit, and our sales team will make the booking for you. We do not charge for site visits. It's absolutely free. We believe that's the way it should be. You shouldn't have to pay for the opportunity to inspect what you're about to buy. It's not as if we're selling loaves of bread or burgers, right? You're about to make a serious investment in a hard immovable asset. It is our privilege and our pleasure that you would even be interested in coming to take a look at what we have to offer. And for that reason, we don't charge. We simply ask for a 48-hour advance notice for planning purposes. Longer is even better, and we'll get you to the site and back. So you're most welcome, Bible Relaxation. Maybe you can share some of your relaxation vibes with us when you come. I see another question. Charisma. Oh man, questions are coming in fast and furious today. This is awesome. Charisma. Oh, I'm interested in land on the coast which you might develop. Do you have plans along the Kenyan coast? We have been dreaming about securing something at the coast for years and are constantly scouting, including currently. Unfortunately, we haven't found anything we can bite into yet. The coast happens to be extremely murky and dangerous for land investors. It's no secret that there's a lot of fraud issues at the coast. Not surprisingly, the coast is stunning, it's beautiful, it's prime, especially if it's on the beach. everyone and their show is trying to buy land at the coast, and for that reason, it's attracted a lot of fraudulent activity. I am certain, however, we will be able to find the right one, and when we do, we'll be happy to notify you. Just drop us a comment or a line. We'll add you to our early notification list for when we do find something at the coast that we will develop, at least to a basic measure, including access roads, perimeter fencing, power, water connectivity, and in whatever other way makes sense for the particular site. So thank you for that question, Charisma. I see another question. What's your fix with Lavina and Otero? That's a cool title. The question is, or comment is, I see lots of influencers promoting land here and there. You guys have a different vibe. I can tell. How are you ensuring the influencers are not just promoting for the sake of a paycheck? Thank you again for that kind compliment. We do try to do things differently. Again, we're very iffy about who we partner with. Um, Obviously, any opportunity we have as a brand to get our message to the widest, most meaningful audience possible, we would jump at. That's how you do business. It's part of the game, right? So, uh, any partnerships that we do engage in that help us achieve that goal, we're happy and grateful for. And we are so blessed as Goshen Acquisitions and Grad Acres that we have a really cool bunch of partners who I should say most of the time started out as customers before we ever engaged them as influencers, if you will. And even the few who didn't start out as customers became customers in the process of their own volition, right? We're very sensitive about that issue. We like for it to be authentic. So that's one of the ways we ensure that they're not doing it just for a paycheck. The vibes have to be right. We like to make sure that they actually care about the process, that they actually care about what their followers might do following their message, because it's a weighty responsibility to be aware that anything you say and do could influence the spending decisions of hundreds or thousands of people, in some cases, millions of people. We need to make sure that we work with people who respect that responsibility. And fortunately for us, all our influencer partners are A1. I mean, it's nothing short of a miracle that we get to work with them and that they love to work with us. And there are many other things we do to ensure that they're doing it for the right reasons. But fortunately, as I mentioned, because many of them start out as customers first, that in and of itself is a major endorsement because they have risked their own capital buying our product. I don't think there's any more authentic of an endorsement than that, and we look forward to keeping people honest. And we're actually working on something soon, so stay tuned with regard to that particular question. And I can't wait to receive your feedback on that. All right, thank you. That was a great question. And I see one more from Wayne Johnson. How soon before the next Imbuko development? Wayne Johnson, that's an awesome question. Thank you. We are actually working on Imbuko 5, 6, and 7 as we speak. I am praying and hoping that we will have ready transactionable title deeds to whatever sizes we will be permitted to produce in Imbuko 5, 6, and 7 within the next 2 or 3 months at the most. It does take a little bit of time because you have to go through change of user applications and processes, and that includes gazettement and public participation for 30, 60 days before you can even engage the county authorities. So I look forward to announcing. The team and I are super excited about them because it's quite a bit of space. It's a beautiful compound. If you're not familiar with Imbuko, please check out our socials. We've sold out on Imbuko 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, done over the last 10 or so, yeah, about 10 years. We sold out on Imbuko 4, I think in June, July of last year, and now working on Imbuko 5, 6, and 7. So stay tuned. You will not regret it. Thank you for that question, Wayne. I see another question from Hills and Valleys. Hi there, Solomon. Great work. Since location is super important, do you have any projects coming up in the Kajiado area with the awesome views of Ngong Hill? Thank you, Hills and Valleys. We don't have one yet in that particular location, but we're constantly scouting. We are actually going to be scouting one on the Isinya Pipeline Road, Isinya Kiserian Pipeline Road. It's a brand, or relatively brand new tarmac road that we'll be scouting a property at next Tuesday. I'm not sure how it's going to go. And as soon as it's ready for us to speak about, uh, I promise you, you will be amongst the first to know. So please just drop us a line, send a message. You can DM us or send an email through, or a WhatsApp message through our WhatsApp number, which is 070001 0001. You should be able to see that on the screen. Again, that's 070001 0001. And someone will get your details and will place you on the early notification list for when we do find something in that corridor. Thank you, Fancy Chipo, for tuning in. Thank you for your kind compliments. Can a foreigner buy Acacia Cove? Yes, they can, but because Acacia Cove are freehold titles, one of the things we have to do in your buying process is to convert the freehold title deed, which only Kenyan citizens can own, into a leasehold certificate of title. That process takes about 30 to 60 days. I would say maybe a bit longer because a lot of it has to do with offices we don't have control over. But yes, that can be done. When the conversion is done, foreigners can own leasehold property. You just need to be aware that that exercise has to be completed before you close your transaction. So reach out to us in case you're interested. We'd be happy to engage with you. I think we only have about 19 or 20 plots remaining. 20. There's 20 plots remaining, half acre each, residential in Acacia Cove, ready transferable title deeds, unless we have to do the conversion to leasehold. So share that to your friends and family, only the ones you like. Yeah, we want good neighbors that we can all get along with, and we'd be happy to engage. That was a great question. I see one more from GK Gaming, and it reads, where? Sema Land Encyclopedia. Asante sana. You should be the CS for land in Kenya. Where are you based in Kenya? Thank you for that endorsement. I don't think I qualify to be CS of lands in Kenya for many reasons, which I will not even attempt to discuss on this live video. But thank you for that vote of confidence. We are actually based in Nairobi, Nairobi, Kenya, in a suburb called Lavington, right off of Riverside Drive, in a beautiful new building called the Riverside Square. Best way to find it is to look out for the brand new Chandarana Food Plus supermarket on the ground floor, right on the road, and a brioche and an Optica. It's an amazing development. You can't miss it. It's right on Riverside Drive. We're on the 9th floor of the West Wing. So come pay us a visit if you're ever in the neighborhood. We do like to make appointments just to make sure you have someone to attend to you when you do show up. So reach out to us. You can WhatsApp us, send us an email. We'll be happy to receive you at the office if you're ever in the neighborhood. Okay, one more. Own land in Hoima Oil City. Okay, not sure where Hoima Oil City is. I'm guessing that's in Uganda. And the comment is, I'm watching from Uganda in Hoima Oil City, but your videos from your different platforms have really changed me in real estate business. Thanks. Thank you, Own Land in Hoima Oil City. That's a kind compliment. We're grateful that we get to impact others positively, and all success to you. Joseph Magero says, do you sell house plans? No, we do not. For the few developments where we do change of use and site and service, meaning all utilities provided, Our architects will come up with sets of designs for our customers to work with within the developments designed specifically for the site. And those are not sold to our customers either. It's one of the few value adds we provide. And so, no, we do not sell house plans. We're not architects, even though many think I am a closet architect. I did go to school. I attended college in Savannah, Georgia for architecture. Unfortunately, I had to drop out in my third year. So I am not a licensed advocate, or rather a licensed architect. I can't practice. And so that's not a service we provide. We're happy to make recommendations on which architects you might want to consider working with, because we only work with the best. So reach out to us on WhatsApp if you're keen, and we would be happy to put you in touch with them. Viral Food Videos says, this is nice. Thank you for taking time. As a foreigner, can I own the land in Kili? Kili something? It's Kili Point. Not sure of the name. Yes, that's Kili Point. Thank you for that question. Again, Kili Point, like Acacia Cove, is freehold, titled, which means constitutionally only Kenyan citizens are permitted to own the land. But if you are a foreigner, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, who's keen on buying either Kili Point or Acacia Cove, we're happy to initiate the change of tenure process. It's a very straightforward process. It takes a little bit of time. There's a cost element to it that we'd be happy to share with you if you're keen on proceeding. And that title deed can be made or turned into leasehold, which means foreign nationals can also own that piece of land. So reach out to us. We'd be happy to engage should you be keen to proceed. And in case you're looking for something that's already leasehold, our Okekun project in Naivasha, right on the highway, mixed-use development, stunning concept done by DLR Architects, one of the top architects globally, did an amazing job with this project with us directly across a new shopping center called the Safari Center, where there's a Naivas Art Cafe Market, commercial on the road front, residential in the back. All details available at grandacres.co.ke. These are leasehold already, so no conversion is necessary. Both Kenyan and foreign nationals can engage us right away, as is indeed already happening with some of our customers. So you're most welcome. I see another question from Brad Kamami. Do you offer advice on what kind of building I can construct after buying my plots? Soil types, black cotton, etc. Most 50 by 100 just sit a 3-bedroom at most. Yes, as I've mentioned, we do work with some of the best architects locally. We're happy to put you in touch with them, get recommendations for those developments where we do not offer site and service product, specifically Kili Point and Imbuko in some cases. We're happy to put you in touch with the professionals who can help you think about that. Soil types, those can be done on an engagement, singular engagement basis. We've done that for some of our customers in Imbuko, and some actually do go ahead and do that on their own. It's a fairly inexpensive thing to do, something we recommend that you do anyway if you are serious about building sooner rather than later. One last question from Mushira. Will this get saved on your channel? Yes, yes, and yes. Check us out. Last week's was also saved on our channel. You can maybe go back and see that. That's a genesis of our conversation about 50 by 100s. Even though I haven't addressed too many questions about 50 by 100s from a technical perspective today, this will be available for your reference as well. Wow, thank you so much, guys, for all that. All the time, for engaging with us, for joining the conversation on the platform. We are so honored. I particularly am very honored and feel privileged that you would do so. We remain available to answer any other questions. Make your comments on our socials. Send us a WhatsApp at 0700010001, and we'll be happy to keep the conversations going. Stay tuned for Next Thursday is live. I'm not sure what we're going to have secured and lined up for you, but it's going to be special. So stay tuned, share with friends and family, only the ones you like, to join, and let's get this movement going. Once again, thank you so much to all of you, and have a blessed night.
Hapa nilikuja bila kitu na sitoki bila kitu, mwanangu azaliwe na kakitu, usitoke bila kitu. Aye, kila siku naishi kama sina kitu, mishowe miniwe na kakitu, akisitoke bila kitu. I wanna make a home with you, I'm putting all my hope in you, and I could be anywhere in the world, but home is where I